We're doing the Shiur this week, Parshas Re'eh, Tavshin Ayin Beis, Shabbos, Rosh Chodesh Elul. We're doing it from the holy city of Yerushalayim. And I don't know if you're able to hear in the background, a little bit around, we were looking for a place to record the Shiur, and there's almost no place in Yerushalayim you could record today, Baruch Hashem, without the sound of the beautiful sound of the heavy construction noises in the background. So if you hear it, understand that it's a good noise, because there are people building in Yerushalayim, moving to Yerushalayim, and that is a good thing, even if it gets in our way, so to speak, a little bit. We're right now holding, in the midst of the 7 weeks, the Shiva de Nechemta, 7 weeks after Tisha B'Av, that go from Tisha B'Av till Rosh Hashanah, when we read the stirring and emotional haftorahs, the haftorahs that are meant to console us, haftorahs that are meant to lift us up and give us the confidence that Emir Tashem B'Kara very, very soon, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to bring us back to the city of Yerushalayim, bring us back to Eretz Yisrael. And these are the 7 haftorahs that we read, and they give us a lot of confidence, and they realize that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's only a matter of time until HaKadosh Baruch Hu brings the entire Klal Yisrael back to Eretz Yisrael. It just happens to be that in most places this week, being that Rosh Chodesh Elul is on Shabbos, so in most places the minhag is that we're not going to lane the regular Shiva de Nechemta, we're going to lane the Haftarah of Rosh Chodesh this week. But be'emes, there are many things that we have to accomplish and we have to think about and we have to do before there was a Geula. And we've spoken over the past couple of weeks, we've spoken different things. We've spoken about the different things, but the pasuk at the beginning of this week's parsha, the parsha begins, Re'eh, Anoichi noisein lifneichem hayoim bracho klala. Kadosh Baruch Hu says, I am putting forth before you bracha and the klala. And how do you get the bracha? The bracha you get if you listen to the mitzvahs of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's how you get the bracha. And the klala chas v'shalom comes if we do not listen to the mitzvahs of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Nesivos Shalom asks Akasha right away on the first pasuk of this week's parsha, why do we use a lashon of re'eh, of to see? What are we seeing? When HaKadosh Baruch Hu is telling us this, it should really say a lashon that we have other times in the Torah. It should say a lashon of Shema. Listen, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is talking to us. We should listen. What is it about re'eh? At Be'emes, this kasha, I saw the Orach Chaim HaKadosh, who we were zeicha to go to the kever of the Orach Chaim this week. The Orach Chaim asked this kasha also. What is it a lashon of re'eh? Why do we say re'eh? We should say Shema. So the Nesivos Shalom answers that re'eh is be'emes a lashon of clarity. When a person sees something, let's say, so by Matan Torah we had the same type of thing. By Matan Torah it says, V'chol ha'am royim es ha'koilos v'es alapidin. That Klal Yisrael was able to see the koilos by Har Sinai. What does that mean? It means that the emunah at that point, the emunah at that time was so clear that it was as if it was right in front of our eyes. It was right there, right in front of us. Just like the pasuk says over there, Ata, we say a pasuk actually in the Devarim, it says, Ata haresa ladas. Haresa, a lashon of it being apparent in front of us. Ki Hashem hu elikim. Once we know Ata haresa ladas, then we know the pasuk says, Ein oid levadoi. It is so clear, it's right in front of our eyes. So why does the Torah say, Re'eh, aside from the fact that the Torah uses a lashon of seeing, Zok Nesivos Shalom, the Torah uses a lashon of Re'eh, which is a singular lashon, a lashon yochid, and not re'u. We're talking to the whole Klal Yisrael. We should say a lashon of re'u. Zok Nesivos Shalom, that the same way that by the Aseres HaDibros are said, but lashon yochid. And the Aseres HaDibros, we know, the Mefarshim speak out, the Aseres HaDibros were given to each person individually, the lashon yochid, on their level. So too, the Torah is telling us here in Parshas Re'eh that if you want the bracha in your life, if you want the bracha, if you want to be zeicha to the bracha, then you yourself, you have to see, just like the Lashon Yochad Aseres HaDibros, each individual person has to see the Aseres HaDibros that are spoken to him right in front of his eyes. You want bracha in your life, you want bracha in the life of your family, each one of you has to look and always see the Aseres HaDibros right in front of you. There's nothing like seeing something in front of you. When you see something, that is the most, leaves the most impression on you. And now I'm going to tell you over something a little deep that the Nesivos Shalom says, a little bit of a deep vart. So just put on your thinking caps and think a minute about what I'm saying. Nesivos Shalom says a beautiful vart that's kedai to think about as we begin Rosh Chodesh Elul. The koyach hara, koyach of bad things that a person does. What does it come from? Bad things that a person, it comes from seeing things, from seeing taivas and seeing the illusions that the Yetzer Hara puts in front of us. Things look beautiful, things look great, things that distract you from Ruchnius, things that distract you from Torah, especially when you're younger. As you're older, you get a little more mature, you begin to see the bigger picture a little bit about things that happen to you in your life. But how the koyach hara comes from seeing things, from things being in front of you. You see them, and these illusions create taivas in your mind that you feel are better than Torah, are better than Ruchni's dika things. But let's say, what about koyach HaKedusha? What does koyach HaKedusha come from? Koyach HaKedusha, the Yetzer Hara has his koyach, he puts things in front of your eyes. Koyach HaKedusha comes from emunah. It comes from something, an imamin that we say, an imamin shahaboirei, yisborach shemoi, yoidea kol ma'aseh b'nei adam, b'chol machshav oisam. The koyach HaKedusha, when a person grows in Ruchnius, when a person goes after Kedusha, it's because he has a belief that HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows and he sees everything that we do. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu is goimel toiv, we say in the Animam, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu is goimel toiv to those that follow in his ways. So how is it possible that a person is ever good? How is it possible that the koyach HaKedusha could ever win out? Koyach hara, we said, is in the most, the thing that gives you the most impressionable things, the things that are in front of your eyes, the things that you see, that's koyach hara. But koyach HaKedusha, we say, is based on a belief that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is watching, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is goimel toiv to those who do good, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows what's in our machshavos. So therefore, we have to, so to speak, behave. So how is it possible that the koyach HaKedusha should ever win over the koyach hara? Koyach hara is seeing, and koyach HaKedusha is intellect. We're believing. Zok the Nesivos Shalom, a very deep vart, a very beautiful vart. He said that is why in this week's parsha, that is why we learned that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives us re'eh, a koyach ha'emunah for bracha, that it's as if it's in front of our eyes. Re'eh ani noisein, it's a matana. Noisein is from a lashon HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's something that we don't necessarily deserve or necessarily understand. Re'eh anoichi noisein. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, listen, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is giving us a gift. He's giving us a gift of this type of emunah, that when we have this kind of emunah, it's as if we're seeing. It has the perfect parallel, has the perfect antidote to the Yetzer Hara, has the perfect antidote to taivas, has the perfect antidote for the things and the obstacles and the roadblocks that the Yetzer Hara puts in front of us that stunts our growth and doesn't let us approach Chodesh Elul when the Parshas Re'eh always falls out, and when we're coming into Chodesh Elul. Just connected that, we have the koyach of emunah to see the life of bracha before our eyes. The Kodesh Baruch Hu gives every year that opportunity. Open your eyes, and you're going to see that the life of Ruchnius, that the life of Torah, that the life of growing in Ruchnius is much more satisfying and much more beautiful than anything that the Yetzer Hara could throw an illusion in front of our eyes. And now it comes to Chodesh Elul, it's time to open our eyes. This is the time HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives us a month before Rosh Hashanah. He gives us that time to sort of take away the illusions, to move the illusions away from things that are clouding our eyes, to sit down, to learn, to daven, to think, ben adam lachaveroi, to sit down, learn Sifrei Musar, sort of get in touch with our inner neshama, get in touch with our inner being, all the things that we do over 11 or 12 months of the year, if it's a leap year, but all the things that we do until it comes around to the next El, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is giving us this time of the year, the opportunity, and this be'emes works in anything in our life. We see here now, we're standing in the Ir HaKodesh in Yerushalayim. We talk so much about Geula in our tefillah. We talk so much, but are we only doing lip service? Do we actually understand that Yerushalayim Ircha Barachim Tashuv as Tzemach Utzapim Lishua, that we're waiting to come back here? Are we actually waiting? If Mashiach actually came today to Lakewood, if Mashiach actually came to any other city around the world that's outside Eretz Yisrael, and he said, listen people, it's time to go. What are we going to do? Are we going to say, like, I need my car, I need my house, I need all the perfect things that the Yetzer Hara tells us that we need before we need our ruchnius, before we understand that we come back to connect ourselves and reconnect our neshamas to Eretz Yisrael? Re'eh, it's time for us to open our eyes and see that we're in Gullus. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu has been kind to us in Gullus, and He's given us everything that we need. And He's given us plenty, and He's given us more than we should have. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu also wants us to understand, Re'eh, the Koyach of Emunah, besides the Ani Mamid that we said, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Goimel Toiv, Ani Mamid Be'emunah Shalema, B'vias HaMashiach. Yeah, but if we believe that we want Mashiach to come, and if we believe that Mashiach is going to come, I'm sorry, Mashiach is not going to come and let us stay in Chutz La'aretz. Mashiach is going to come and tell us that the children of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's time to come back. Re'eh, open your eyes. And this is the time of the year, Rosh Chodesh Elul, this is the time of year that's mesugel for us to have that kind of emunah, to grow with that emunah. And Mirz Hashem, we could already wish everybody, we're starting Chodesh Elul, it's unbelievably so how the year flies by, but we could already take this opportunity from Yerushalayim to say, let's hope that we all come back here, and we all come to Yerushalayim, and wish everybody, for the first time this year, right at the time of Rosh Chodesh Elul, we should talk about Zoicha to a year of Geula, to a year of growing in Ruchnius, a year of Nachas, a year of Simcha, and we should all be Zoicha together to come back to Yerushalayim happily.